Dear BJ, no matter what I do, my child seems to badger me constantly and demand more. Please help. All right, help is on the way. Hi everyone, I'm BJ Muir from JesusHelpMeParent.com, and I help you become the parent your kids need so they can grow into all that Jesus wants them to be. Last time I showed you all about demandingness and what it is. Let's talk about contentment. In a heart-based approach to parenting, we don't just want to focus on the negative. We want to use a map mentality. Picture yourself going on a journey. Demandingness is where you're currently located with your child. They're doing the wrong thing. They're badgering, they're arguing, they're whining. We can't just tell them stop doing that. We need to tell them what we want them to start doing as well. That's the journey they're going to go on, and they're going to follow the map you build for them to get them to point B. That's contentment. We're going to talk about 4 things you can do as a parent to help build contentment in your child's heart so that they stop the badgering, the whining, the complaining, the demandingness, and start the journey towards contentment. Just as a quick reminder, because lots of families love having a definition that they can use with their kids, demandingness is when I value what I want more than the relationships I have with others. Now, why do we work on contentment? Well, it goes back to something I showed you in the last video. What's going on inside your child's heart? It's this balance between ambition and contentment. Both of those are really good. We want kids to be ambitious and we want them to be content. And that's a nice balance. But when contentment's gone too far, it becomes apathy. When ambition has gone too far, it becomes demandingness. 1 Timothy 6:6 tells us, but godliness with contentment is great gain. That might be a great memory verse for your kids. The first way we can teach contentment to our children is by helping them decrease their emotional investment in different aspects of life. A lot of times, the reason our children are struggling with demandingness is that they've overcommitted their emotions to a specific outcome. Your kid had their heart set on movie night. Your child just needed to have ice cream for dessert tonight, or some other thing that their heart's desire was filled with. We need to help our children decrease that emotional investment they're making. And we do that up front by talking about what we're going to be doing. We can talk about things like, hey, I see you're excited for movie night coming up. Wow. How are you feeling? Talk about feelings. Use feeling language and vocabulary with your kids. But then ask your child, hey, what do you think you'll do if something happens and we can't do movie night? What if we suddenly had to go help somebody like grandma or grandpa and we couldn't do movie night? What would be a good way for you to respond? By brainstorming the ways to respond if something doesn't happen, you're starting to help your child decrease the emotional investment and understand sometimes life doesn't go the way we planned, and that's okay. You can even brainstorm responses and say like, okay, what would be like an over-the-top response? Yeah, that would be the wrong way to respond. You're right. What would be a more appropriate response? That would be much better. What would be a response that just seems like way too shallow, like it's not enough of a response? Yes, saying, oh, I don't care. Well, we do care, right? So helping your kid brainstorm these types of responses can start to help them see there's the right way to respond if something has to change. And I want to choose that response rather than going too deep because I've emotionally invested too much in that situation. The second way to work with your kids on contentment is to use visuals. I want you to picture something like the number scale that you see in your doctor's office, that 1 to 10 scale to talk about your pain level, except we're not talking about pain levels with our kids, but emotional response levels instead. Again, these are kids who often have invested too much emotionally in a situation, so we want to help them understand that there are other levels of emotions. So we might talk about that and then talk about different scenarios and tell them, oh, it started raining when you wanted to go outside and play in the backyard with your friend who's over for a play date. What type of emotion might you feel? Oh, you might feel disappointed, right? What level of disappointment are you going to feel? Is that like a 2? Is that like a 5? Is that like an 8? What level of disappointment is that? Oh, okay. Hey, we were going to go to Florida and the airline canceled our flight, and now we can't go for another month. Oh, what emotion are you feeling? Okay, and what level? Now that's probably going to be a little bit more than not getting to go out into the backyard, and we want our kid to see that. You can use lots of scenarios like this, and it doesn't always have to be disappointment and upsetness. You can talk about happy things as well, and what type of response we should have also, but we want to help our kids see that there are different levels of problems. We don't have to get numbers exact, but a general sense of like 2, 5, and 8 or 9. Those are different types of responses. You might use words instead of numbers. Is this a big problem or a little problem? Or a medium-sized problem? Those are great words to use with kids so that we can talk that way. And then when a situation's happening and we see our kids starting to get a little upset, go back to that language and say, hey, well, what level should we kind of be at? What type of problem is this? Big problem, little problem? Is this a 2 problem or a 10 problem? And that starts to help kids understand, oh, I need to watch how I'm emotionally investing in this situation. The third way we can help our kids increase their contentment is by teaching them the difference between wishes, desires, and demands. Lots of our kids don't understand the difference between those 3 things. When we're talking about a wish, it might be something like coming down the stairs and saying, oh, I wish we could have ice cream for dessert tonight. That's a wish. Wishes sometimes happen, sometimes they don't, but they're just a wish, and we only emotionally invest so much in them. A desire is increasing how much we're investing in there, and it might sound something more like, man, I really would love to have ice cream tonight for dessert. All right, I hear an increase in the emotional language there and the emotional investment there. That's different than just a wish. I'm a little bit more excited for it. I kind of want to see it happen. A demand is when I come down the stairs and say something like, we better have ice cream tonight, or it's Friday night, we always have dessert, it better be ice cream. Something like that is more of a demand. Helping our kids learn that there are such a thing as wishes, desires, and demands, and that they want to start expressing their demands more like desires and wishes is key to helping them lower that emotional investment as well. And so when your kid states a demand, we want to say something like, ooh, that sounded like a demand to me. Rephrase that, but as a wish, or rephrase that, but as a desire. By telling your child to rephrase it, you are setting the expectation that we don't make demands in our home, but you can certainly express your wishes and desires at that point, and I want to hear those things because that might change what I was planning on. Maybe I was thinking about brownies, but we've got ice cream in the freezer, or I might even be willing to go run out and get some ice cream because they stated it as a desire, and I want to do something like that for my family. Now, I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying you're more willing to. We want to help our children see demands don't get us as far as stating wishes and desires, and that if wishes and desires don't get fulfilled, that's okay. They were just wishes and desires anyway. If you've learned something new so far, or liked what you've heard, do me a favor, hit that like button right now. A bonus way to work on helping your child develop contentment is actually working on following instructions. A lot of our kids that struggle with contentment struggle with following instructions too, and every instruction seems like a battle to get them to do it, even when it's a simple one. But you see, following instructions means giving up my own little agenda that I have for that moment, hitting pause on the video game I'm playing, or stopping building with my Legos, or coming in from the swings to see what mom or dad needs at that moment, and then following through on what they tell me to do instantly, completely, and cheerfully, and then I get to go back to what I was doing. Lots of kids struggle with that, but when we get kids to do that well, they suddenly decrease in demandingness as well too. I want to help you with that because this does not have to be a battle. Kids can follow instructions with a good attitude when we make 5 simple, positive changes to the way we as parents deliver instructions as well. If you're interested in that, click on the link down below for the 5 simple ways to get kids to follow instructions. You're going to get an email each day for 5 days. There's going to be a very brief video in there with one simple step. Step by step, each day I'll give you a new step. And here's the great part. At the end of the video, and it's a real brief one, but powerful, you're going to watch that, and at the end of that video, you're going to be able to go off and do that thing that you just learned that day. And it's going to already start making a change if you do it with your kid. So go ahead, grab it in the link down below. The 4th way to teach your kid about contentment is teaching them to come with requests in the planning stage. Sometimes kids come to us when they have plans already set. Mom, Dad, I want to have my friends over. We're going to have pizza. We're going to watch this movie tonight. Whoa, that seems like it's all set. Have we talked to other parents? Are they all free? Did you ask us any permission? Like, this is already set and done. You need to back up and come to us in the planning stage. This would have been better if you came to us on Monday or Wednesday, 2 or 3 days ago, and talk to us about this idea you're having for a big movie night with some friends. We want to teach our kids this skill. So if your kid is coming to you like this and just telling you, I want to do this now, we want to tell them, you need to come to me when you're in the planning stages. So you want to come and say things like, Mom, I'm thinking about having a pizza party with a movie on Friday night, or I'm thinking about, and whatever that thing is, teach them that language, I'm thinking about, or I would like to do this. And then we could say, great job coming to me while you're planning it. Let's make a plan so I can say yes. When kids come to us too late in the planning stages, when it's already gonna happen here, it's hard for us to say yes as parents because there's other factors they didn't consider. We don't want to help make this a punishment to kids. Like, if you don't come to me in the planning stage, you're punished here. That's not what this is about. This is about helping our kids see that it's more effective for them to come to us earlier on because we can help the situation get to a yes by being involved early on and addressing things that might lead us to have to say no because they weren't thought through. So helping our kids understand the benefits of coming to us in the planning stages is what we want to do to increase contentment and decrease demandingness. You also can check out some other videos that I have here on the YouTube channel all about demandingness and contentment. They're popping up somewhere around me right now. There's probably a second one popping up with YouTube telling you what video they think would be best for you as well. Until next time, I'll see you soon.